Ever since the MCU started with Iron Man, the looming threat of the Mandarin was in the background. Sometimes literally, sometimes figuratively. But the Mandarin has always been pulling the strings from the background. Now, thanks to the director of Shang-Chi, we know exactly how they're going to try to explain this. So without going into too many spoilers, the director of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Dustin Daniel Cretton, was asked about potential connections to the bigger picture of the Ten Rings and the organization in the MCU, and if we can expect to get an explanation of what they've been doing in the background of the MCU and their involvement with Iron Man, for example, and how they've showed up in various different little projects. And again, without spoiling it, he did say that the story of the film will center on Shang-Chi and his relationship with his father, who is the Mandarin. But more so than that, they are going to explain the history of the Ten Rings, those being the physical rings, and also the crime syndicate 10 rings that we've seen in the MCU, and shed new light on that crime organization and what it means. And he also did tease that both of those will affect the hero and the villain of the story. Now, I think if you look at what we've seen so far, it's quite evident that these rings are going to be at the central plot of everything that has to do with the Mandarin and with the legacy, and how far back they go, and why he decided to do what he did to have a fake Mandarin out there to sort of fall into the background of the MCU and just observe. Because it definitely seems like that they have to explain that while also explaining this crime syndicate that's been there, that showed up in different projects, from Iron Man to Ant-Man to even the Netflix stuff we've seen, the Ten Rings. So it's going to be interesting to see what their approach is to this and how they tie it all the way back to Iron Man 1. And they definitely do tease that we're going to get a little bit of an explanation of that, because why wouldn't we? Like, we definitely saw their prominent flag when they captured Tony Stark. And they were doing that, one would have to assume, at the orders of the real Mandarin. So the hierarchy and how this all builds up, I think, will be interesting to see explored on the big screen.